Today I got a extremely exciting video for you guys. If you are looking to move into the online business world, trying to figure out how to make money online, looking at different business models, whether that be forex trading, crypto trading, meme coins, drop shipping, all these things, agency, SMMA, and you're just unsure, this video is for you. I cannot emphasize that enough. I interviewed 6 of the most exceptional young entrepreneurs that I've ever met, and I'm very privileged to be able to call them my friends now. I also had the privilege of spending around 8, 9, 10 days with each of them in a villa in Cape Town in the beginning of this year. And I asked them around 4, 5, 6 different questions, everything ranging from what business model you're in, why would you recommend that, what would you do differently if you had to start all over, what is the key thing that you are looking at optimizing right now, what are you focusing on right now, all those different questions. I'm extremely excited to get into this video. You guys won't believe it, but they're all between 18 and 23 years old, extremely young. I know it's ridiculous. I'm the oldest there, 23, which is crazy. And also, the guys are making between $5,000 and $100,000 every single month. It is ridiculous. The biggest entrepreneur there, whose client retreater was, he's making around double that amount right now. So yeah, extreme props to all these guys. They are young, but don't let their age fool you. Off this video, you'll see what I mean. Exceptional people, exceptional questions, and their Instagrams is all linked in the description if you feel the need to hit them up. And let's get into the video. Who are you and what business are you currently in?
My name is Nick. I run a consulting company. So I help companies scale high-ticket offers, offer acquisition, conversion, team systems, and fulfillment. And that's who I am. That's what I do, and that's how I operate.
What's the biggest mindset shift that helped you break past your first 10K a month?
Taking action.
What's one skill that contributed the most to your success, and how did you develop it?
Conviction. Being able to speak and communicate well towards other people, knowing how you can influence them in the right way for them to take certain actions and get the right results.
I think 90% of the people, it's like a speed, I know. But that's a very good point. I think 90% of people that's in this house invested into Nick because of his conviction. I think 90% of people said that on the call, or not on the call when please.
I believe I have a good product because I have conviction. I have conviction towards believing that I have a good product, and you can never have the right conviction if you don't believe you actually have a good product, or if you actually have a good acquisition system, or actually a good offer. So I think conviction comes with building something great, and otherwise people feel that you're lying. People feel that you're not honest.
If you had to start from scratch today with no connections, no audience, no money, what would be your first move?
I'd move myself into the right situation with the right people. That is the first move, and figure out what is needed for me in that situation to take the right actions. So for example, just getting the work done in terms of outreach. I probably have no capital. I do outreach. I get a setter in my company because that's what I've experienced and that's what I help my clients do, right? So that is what I would do to get the first sale in. Take my own sales calls, get money in, and then make more.
What's one mistake you made that set you back the most, and how would you avoid it?
One mistake I made was thinking that as an entrepreneur, the moment you evolve and you make 30 to 50K, you forever will be taking risks because you're an entrepreneur. But when you're at 100K, I had so many risks that I needed to take to get to 500. So the process starts over again from 0 to 10. So what I've realized now for myself to solve this problem faster, if I would communicate it towards other people, I would say, always keep taking risks. And this is not something that I expect when I started entrepreneurship. I thought the risk was going from a 9 to 5 to entrepreneurship, but it's, when you're at 100K, you're at the exact same spot in your mind of going to 500K.
Well, it's the first time anyone said that. If there's one thing that you want the people watching to know that can maybe take them from 0 to 10, 0 to 50, essentially just moving to the next level, what would that be?
Hire the right people and build the right systems.
All right, so who are you and what business are you currently in?
My name is Braden Benz. I run a real estate SMMA. Been doing it for about 1.5 years now. Currently at 35K a month.
Awesome, bro. That's US. What was the biggest mindset shift that helped you break past your first 10K a month?
First biggest mindset shift I'd say would be thinking that it's actually possible. The biggest thing a lot of people think is it's some out of this world concept, but it's really simple, the steps you need to do. Find people, reach out to them, have a good service to deliver. Pretty basic.
Well, that's amazing, bro. You know what? Actually, someone already just said exactly that. So write that down, bro. What's one skill that contributed the most to your success, and how would you develop it?
One skill, most of my success, I'd say, was relentless action. You're not going to know exactly what you're doing when you first start out, but if you take action on every single thing, you'll slowly figure it out as you go, along with failing.
If you had to start from scratch today with no connections, no audience, no money, what would be your first move?
First move would be reach out to everyone. I applied for a job post 2.5 years back, and now that guy mentors me, and he does about 300K a month, and has been helping me a ton with my agency. So just reach out to anyone you know. There's so many opportunities out there to learn from other people who've already done what you want to do.
Keegan just said that, so 100%. What's one mistake you made that set you back the most, and how would you avoid it?
One mistake that set me back the most, I'd say, was my belief. It took me so long thinking that I needed to do all the work myself. I'd say that's one of the biggest limiting beliefs possible. As soon as I started delegating things, we 10x the output that we were doing, infinite scale.
Yeah, bro, amazing. And if there's one thing that you want these people to remember and to know on their journey towards scaling their business, maybe just moving into it, what's one thing you tell them?
I'd say just take action. It's really not that complicated. It's really not that hard. You just have to take action every single day. You're not going to have it figured out. You're not going to have it perfect, and that's totally okay.
If you guys are enjoying this content, this information, we got a free school community with over 2,300 people, predominantly from South Africa, all in the online business space, sharing questions, ideas, information just like this. So link is in the description. Go and have a look. It's absolutely free. All right, back to the video. So who are you and what business are you currently in?
Yeah, my name is Keegan. I'm currently working as a marketing agency. Yeah, I think that's
yeah,
big,
bro.
big
Okay. What's the biggest mindset shift that helped you break past your first 10K a month?
I think it's the mindset shift of you don't need to figure it out on your own. A lot of guys try and just learn and create everything from the beginning. Like for example, with math, people spend hundreds of years trying to figure things out. Why do that when you can literally just learn it in a 45-minute lesson? So literally just taking what's already working, people have already done it, and using it myself. That's the biggest thing.
What's one skill that contributed the most to your success, and how did you develop it?
I think emotional control is one of the biggest things. If you become very emotional, then you will just make the wrong decisions. The way I improve that is just working on certain reframing of things. Like every bad thing is actually a good thing because it makes your story of how you grew and progressed well. And honestly, just dealing with shit like approaching women just for how scary it is, cold calling just because it's scary, just to break through that and tell yourself show yourself you have control over your emotion.
If you had to start from scratch today with no connections, no audience, and no money, what would be your first move?
First thing, by far, is speaking with someone who knows what they're doing, like literally reaching out to hundreds of people who are already doing it, just saying, look, this is where I'm at, I want to get to what you're doing, and people will help you. Even regardless on YouTube and stuff, you can just find the right actions to take just something to get going and take action as aggressively as possible. That's even what Elon Musk recommends. He's saying gratitude ferocity, which is step-by-step ferociously. So just take the next step as ferociously as possible.
I love that. What's one mistake you made that set you back the most, and how would you avoid it?
I'd say I was scared to test new things, and it slowed me down a lot. I would just get into a belief that I'd have to do one thing. Like I'd limit myself to one performance method, one outreach method, where I should have genuinely just tested many things, see which works the best. Because if I did that 6 months ago, I would have saved 6 months of time. Yeah.
Cool, bro. And but if there's one thing you would want the people to know and to remember, especially starting out their business, thinking of building a business, and essentially just chasing their dreams, what's one thing you would tell them?
I'll tell them it's hard. I spent a year and a half with nothing, no results. People literally actively pulling me back and telling me that what I'm doing is not the right thing. But it is one of the most worth things you'll ever do in your entire life, and you will never regret it.
Who are you and what business are you currently in?
My name is Ethan, and I run an SMMA. I target and help real estate agents get more clients. That's all I do.
What was the biggest mindset shift that helped you break past your first 10K a month?
Biggest mindset shift was just believing that I could do it. Literally just having the belief and then having the conviction that I was the person who was capable of achieving 10K a month and providing that level of service. That's all it took.
But I think you're like the third person to say that, so I highly recommend write that down, okay, and take that in. It's one thing to hear it and to read it and to whatever, and it's another thing to actually believe it and to take action on it. Ethan and I actually spoke about that one evening downstairs. It was quite a crazy conversation. So yeah, AD. If you know, you know. What's one skill that contributed the most to your success, and how did you develop it?
The one skill. I think the one skill that helped me the most was learning. So obviously in business there's a bunch of different things you have to do, which means that you actually have to learn each and every single one as a business owner. So ads, fulfillment, funnel building, all of that you have to learn quick, right? And then take action, right? But just learning and really soaking everything in by failing is I'd say the biggest skill.
Amazing. If you had to start from scratch today with no money, no connection, no business, what would be your first move?
No money, no connections, no nothing. I would try to meet the right people, because what I've found is that once you are just in the right circles, like the osmosis of just being around the right people, like Quentin, like what a sick cunt, right? And like Nick, all of these other guys here, just being around the right people puts you in the right mindset, and it brings up your frequency. And from there, you can literally achieve anything. Because all the information's out there already. You just need to take action, meet the right people.
I mean, we are all on a client retreat right now. Let me actually show you guys. I can just turn this around. So first of all, we got one interview going on over there. We got a group of people down here talking about business. I think someone had just a meeting, breaking that down. Like, this is the value of networking, boys. This is, once again, Ethan is one of, I think, 3 people that just spoke about the first thing they would do if they had nothing was surround themselves with the right people, get connected, and learn what you need to do. You know, like, you don't know what you don't know. So us actually paying to be here, my brother comes from Australia. I mean, come on, bro. He's the first time in South Africa. I would have never met up with him. I would have never learned what I did from him if we weren't, connected like this.
Exactly.
So networking is everything, very important. Once again, write it down. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah. So one thing I do want to add to that is to actually network, you have to get uncomfortable. You see people in the streets, you see people in a cafe, whatever it is, walk up to them and have a conversation. That's how you do it. Like, there's a certain level of discomfort you need to get over to achieve what you want to achieve. And the only way to speak to people and get in their circles is walking up and saying hello, right? So find the right people and put out your hand, say hello. Let's have a chat. That's how you do it.
What's one mistake you made that set you back the most, and how would you avoid it now?
I think one mistake that set me back was just not understanding the level that I was at. So I was trying to do too much as a beginner, and what that does is puts too much complexity into what you do. So I was trying to, run ads, trying to build funnels, try to create content. When you're beginning, get good at one skill first, and then from there you can build upon that skill. But when you're at the start and you try too much shit, like, it just slows down your progress. So I think Alex Hormozy says it, pick one thing and just keep doing that one thing. Like one avatar, one product, one channel, right? So just do that for like a solid 6+ months and you will achieve what you want to achieve.
Before we continue, let me just get a video of this. Like, I'm scared that people stand up. Like, this looks so cool, actually. Authentic life of a entrepreneur, building brand. Okay, so if there's one thing you want the viewers to remember and to know, they are in a position where they might be looking at starting a business, maybe scaling from 0 to 10, or maybe wanting to move to just a different level. What's one thing that helped you the most and that you would recommend them maybe to consider implementing?
Okay. So one thing, I think the biggest change for me, getting to achieve my success, was literally just taking action. There's all the information out there. It's just, are you going to be the person that does what you need to do?
Who are you and what business are you currently in?
I'm Sebastian. I'm 18 years old. I run a consulting business where we do client acquisition infrastructures for coaches, consultants, agency owners that are in a similar space to me.
Perfect. What was the biggest mindset shift that helped you break past your first 10K a month?
I'd say most people, they have what it takes, they just have to believe in themselves. So once I realized that, I looked at other people that had been in my current stage just a couple months ago, and then now they were in my desired stage. I just looked at them, and then I realized there wasn't much to it. And then also building a brand for yourself, I would say is one of the biggest things to stand out in the market.
Cool, bro. That's amazing. Yeah, once again, it's like the fourth guy saying that, so write it down,
Absolutely.
bros. What's one skill that contributed the most to your success, and how did you develop it?
Probably getting better at speaking, to be honest.
Oh, yeah?
Which comes from practice. There's no shortcuts really. Obviously you can optimize for learning to speak better, but it used to be difficult with words and stuff like that. So through YouTube videos, through being around guys like yourself and all these people, like, you get better at speaking and formulating yourself.
Yeah, and he's got a YouTube channel, so it's a testimony to what he's talking about. So yeah, we'll link it down in the description. If you had to start from scratch today with no connections, no audience, no money, no business, what would be your first move?
First of all, I would make the vision very clear for myself, what I want to do, because a lot of people just go straight to work without really thinking. In this market, you need to think before you do. I think that's very important. I would implement setters to send out volume. I would search up on YouTube the best systems to leverage to do that, which is what we do for our clients as well. I would immediately start posting on Instagram. It doesn't have to be flashy or anything, but post on Instagram and post on YouTube, those go very hand in hand. And then I'll get very clear on my offer, what I'm offering to the market. I'll start posting on social media, and then I'll leverage or delegate the repetitive tasks so people can send out volume on a consistent basis.
Cool, bro. What's one mistake you made that set you back the most, and how would you go about avoiding it now?
The biggest mistake I used to do was not really realizing my position within the market, because a lot of people don't realize that they have their ego attached and think that they deserve something, when in reality you're just one fish in a big pond. So I'd say try to look at yourself from a bird's eye perspective. If you were your client avatar, would you actually buy from yourself? Because I used to just work without really knowing what I was doing, and then I started to be around guys that had come further than me. Yeah. And so I think it's very important to not be selfish and actually think, would I buy for myself?
If you had to recommend someone going from 0 to 10K, they're looking at this video, what's like one thing you would say, focus on this, it will change everything?
Yeah. To be honest, it sounds boring. I know a lot of people have said it, but I would say go heavy on brand, to be honest. Either you can go two paths in this market, because people say it's saturated, everything that we're doing, SMMA, consulting, lead generation, all this. But it's more like a lot of people are offering these commoditized labor packages where you can get it from everywhere. And so some people are selling it for 5K. Why would I buy it for 5K when I could just go to the next person and buy for 1K? Why would I buy for 1K when I can get AI to do it for, a couple $100 a month? So I would say you can either build a brand for yourself and then you create leverage by being you, because nobody can replicate yourself, or you have to get really good at what you do. And that takes a long time. So you can either create a brand for yourself, or you have to become 20 times as good on what you're doing, because you don't have that leverage for yourself. Yeah. And so that, and then I'll also say, if you can, invest in some people that can help you get there faster. Yeah. And if you can't do that, then watch YouTube. There's a lot of free knowledge out there. You guys are doing a great job with that as well in the community.
Bro. So I just showed previously with Ethan, everybody's shooting. We're all here at this client retreat with Nick in Cape Town, beautiful country. And bro, we see the power in networking, like surrounding yourself with people like, just everyone here, it's ridiculous, because you learn so much via just osmosis. So who are you and what business are you in?
So my name is Jonathan. I'm from Sweden. I'm running a consulting/agency business where I help coaches, consultants, and agents owners scale their own businesses. And I've scaled from 0 to 15K a month. Perfect. In the past few months. Yeah.
What was the biggest mindset shift that helped you break past your first 10K a month? And we're talking US, by the way.
The biggest mindset shift, I'd say, was just realizing that it could be done. Really, I've had the belief for a while that I could achieve something more extra than the average person, but just, going online, seeing people, talking to people who's done it, just realizing that, okay, I can actually do this. Not just I want to do this, but I can actually do this. That was the biggest thing for me.
What was the one skill that contributed the most to your success, and how did you develop it?
So, that's a good question.
Yeah, think about it, bro. all these things might be interconnected as well. Mindset is probably a big thing.
Yeah. So the biggest skill for me, I'd probably say, was just like, I think it was just kind of connecting the dots, if you feel what I'm saying. So like, just like taking all the different aspects of business, of mindset, and just kind of connecting them in a way that they work together. So I'd say like the biggest reason for that is just like pattern recognition. Okay. So like just training up your pattern recognition. There's a lot of stuff you can do for that. I know chess is a big thing. You can play a lot of chess to actually help with your pattern recognition. So I think that was one of the biggest things.
Interesting. If you had to start from scratch today with no connections, no audience, and no money, what would be the first move?
The first move would be to start an agency, kind of like I'm running now, but more of a commoditized fulfillment. So just do like a service, Facebook ads, something like that. And at the same time, I do start building my personal brand. So what I do is I'd start up my Instagram, I'd start running my personal brand, and at the same time, I'd start sending out outreach messages to potential clients. And I just do that until I got my first few clients.
What's one mistake you made that set you back the most, and how would you avoid it?
So for me, it was just taking too long to act on certain things that I knew was the right move. So for a long time, I had a bunch of stuff in mind with my systems, but then also taking action on doing something different than what I was doing at the time when I wasn't making any money at all. So the biggest thing for me was just like I didn't take action right away, which is something I wouldn't say I regret it, but it's something that set me back. And it's something I've been working on a lot the past few months, just being better at actually taking action towards things.
Cool, bro. What is one thing that you would tell them that you think will move the needle, forward the most?
So the things that I think would move the needle the most for you is just, of course, the regular thing, like just working hard, doing the right stuff. But that's the most important part, doing the right stuff. So figuring out in your position what is the right play. And you don't have to have it perfect, that's the thing. So like, you just need to look at your situation and just evaluate it in the best way possible that you can evaluate it. So just look at your situation and really think, okay, what is the best thing I could do here? Like, what's gonna move the needle the most for me? And then just, as soon as you figure that out, just take action on that. And that's just continuously doing that is gonna take you very far.